Hi, this is Patter and Nico's here too, and I want to welcome you to the November 5th Cosmic Tower, November 5th, 2024 Cosmic Tower Q&A call. We're always so thankful for these calls and the privilege that it is to meet you talking about harmonic energy and creating a life that we love. So thank you for being here and thank you for giving us the opportunity to live like this. Lenore, you emailed me a question the other day, and it turns out I just got some L90 stickers in the mail this week too. So I'm glad that you have questions about them. And let's start with us live. So, what do you have to ask about L90 stickers? And we'll start there.
Oh, you're muted.
You got to press that little button.
Got it. Okay. I got my cosmic towers. I've had it, but I'm reluctant to bring it into my bedroom area because of my mirrors. I have closet, my closet doors are mirrors. So, that's why I bought the L90. And they're very interesting shapes, but I'm not quite sure how I should place it on my mirrors.
Yeah, you can just, I mean, they have a little adhesive to them, and you
Yeah.
can just put them in the bottom in a corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just put it there, and
Okay.
then yeah, that does it for that. So one per mirror if they're like individual ones.
Oh, easy, easy. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nico, going a little further into that, when they arrived, they said they arrived in pairs, and there seemed to be two separate bags, but they look pretty much the same to me.
Yeah, because maybe you want to put it in another corner, and then it wouldn't line up with the corner, so you have one to use on the left and on the right.
Okay.
I have one on my laptop screen monitor here.
So one's enough. You don't need to do a pair on the mirror.
Yes. Yes.
And what if the mirror is like a whole wall, like you've been in this room, the whole wall over there, but there's 3 sheets in it?
Yeah, I would do one per sheet.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. And
Okay.
I guess a little more information. L90s are stickers from Ibrahim Karim's work, the biogeometry stickers. And we've been waiting for them to get back in stock. They were a topic. Here, Lenore's holding one up for us. Yeah, if you speak, Lenore, you'll pop up on everybody's screen. Just say hi.
Okay. Here's what it looks like.
Good job.
Mhm.
There you go, using your voice again.
Yeah. I'm learning.
So we
Yep.
just put one in the lower right corner, did you say?
Yeah, or left, any corner. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could just put it on the mirror too, but it looks better in a corner. And you just put one on there. You could choose a corner that's not as visible or whatever works, right? But just about the whole thing with mirrors, right? Mirrors, as you know, reflect, right? They bounce light back, right? The cosmic tower sends out light, so when it gets bounced back, it creates kind of a wobble in the field, right? And also mirrors, like they invert the image. So your left becomes right and your right becomes left. So if you can help it, just put your tower to where it's not in a direct line in front of a mirror, right? So don't put it right in front, or don't put it like here, right? Put it off a little bit. So if you stand in front of the mirror, you don't see your tower in there. That's what I would do. It's always good to still like neutralize and use L90 stickers, especially when they're in your bedroom. And if you're lying in your bed, you could see your own reflection in the mirrors, right? You don't want that. So then, you can just use those stickers to help harmonize the effect of the mirrors.
Now, what about if in your, like in the bathrooms where you don't have a cosmic tower, do you still want to put these on the mirror?
No, not necessarily. You can. I think the most important place is where you sleep, right? And then in your bathroom, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it unless you want to do all of them, right? but it's not like when you're there and you're doing your thing in the bathroom. It's not like you spend a whole lot of time, at least I don't.
Right.
And yeah, you're also not sleeping there, right? When we sleep, our energy field just opens up more and is more vulnerable, right? So you want a safe environment to sleep in, energetically and otherwise.
Did I understand you to say that you also have one on your computer screen?
I do. Yeah, because I spend a lot of time behind the computer. So I have one of those, and then there's one at a different angle. I think it's 66, and those work really well with like wireless technologies. You can put them on routers, etc. And so I have one of these on my computer at the bottom, and then I have a 90 on the screen, and then I can measure it, that the laptop is not like detrimental for me.
Oh, so would you recommend we get those then for the computer?
I mean, if
But-
if your computer and you're with your Cosmic Tower, right? The Cosmic Tower will also harmonize. But I just like to have them on my laptop. First of all, because I'm a geek and I like to figure those things out. And second, yeah, maybe I'm going with my laptop somewhere else and I'm on my tower with me, right? So this way, at
And you
least
said there's two different kinds that you use with your computer and the computer screen?
yeah, it's the 90, and then this one, I think it's 66 or something. It's a different angle. You can look up in the L shapes and it will tell you which one is for Wi-Fi. And there's also one with an even bigger angle that, but I would say primarily the L90 and the 66, I think it is.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead.
go ahead.
Hi, I was wondering if I still need to use my blue blockers in front of the computer screen, even though the Cosmic Tower is 6 feet away.
I'll speak to that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with that a lot lately. So these are blue light blocking readers, and I picked them up at Target a week and a half ago. And you know, it's very rare I'm in a store like that. It's very rare that I don't just go in and get what I'm directed to get. And 100% by wearing these on the computer the next day, when I stopped working and went for a walk, my eyes were better. And so I would suggest that blue light blocking all the time is a good idea. And I have been increasingly getting relief from it. In fact, I bought 500 pairs of pinhole glasses. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
Yes.
I bought 500 of them like 2 years ago, and I've just been waiting for the inspiration about what to do with them. And when I got these and realized how good the pinhole glasses and these make me feel, I decided I'm going to send all those pinhole glasses into our warehouse, and whatever it costs. So some people sell these pinhole glasses for like $31 on their website, and they're just plastic glasses. And so I went to China and I bought them for 40 cents a pair. Like, it's going to cost more to pay for the storage in the warehouse for a month than it's going to cost to buy the product. So I'm just going to send them into the warehouse, and I'm going to put a product up where people can pay whatever the cost is of the packaging and the shipping. It's going to be like $7 and maybe $8, and just let people get a pair. So I think pinhole glasses are important, and now I'm inspired now that I'm getting the results myself. So between pinholes and any blue light blocking technology, like I figure if I can pull one off the shelf at Target and it gives me that much relief, it's definitely good. So Cosmic Tower's amazing. And the more tools I layer on top that are supportive of my health and well-being, the better I feel. Nico, I don't know if you want to add to it, but I'm
Yeah.
excited about your recent
Yeah, I'd
experience.
like to answer Ed's question. So basically, you know, you have obviously understand how detrimental you know, the artificial light is, and also like EMF creates not just electromagnetic radiation, but also creates these scalar waves that propagate way further and create the smog that lingers. You can actually see this if you land at a big city. Far in the distance, you see kind of the light smog already, already hanging over the system. So the cosmic tower can definitely change the quality, right, of that light. But here's another important aspect, which I think the tower cannot necessarily help you with, is that each color of the spectrum of light has a particular effect in your body. So your eyes are really the clock that sets the timing for everything to happen in your body. That's why so many people now have hormonal problems, right? Because they're on blue light that's 4 times stronger than the light the sun gives off in the morning. So it signals to the body, hey, it's morning, right? Stop producing melatonin, right? And start the cycle. So I would definitely still wear them at night, simply because of that. Once that clock is off of your eyes, I mean, your hormones are off. It just cascades through the entire body. So that's why it's really important, especially after the sun sets. You don't. I have friends that are on their phone all night.
Fucking hell.
Oh, that are on the phone, all night in their bed, and they're like, I have such trouble sleeping. Yeah, because you're staring at that blue light and you're signaling your body that it's morning, right? So one of the things you can do with your phone, Pattern knows that I have like to where I can turn it red at night. You use the filter so it doesn't give off. I like to do all those things, and the blue blockers purely because of just that. Then I have to tell you, the moment when I wear them at night, I actually get tired and I go to bed early, and then I also wake up much earlier. And that early morning sunlight, especially if you can catch that first thing in the morning, is really, really important, like for your body, because there's parts of the spectrum in there that regulate so many things in our organism. Like I'm flying to Egypt next week. The fastest way to get over jet lag is to catch the first sunrise. And then through the eyes, that light comes in and it sets the clock and say, okay, this is morning, this is daytime. And then when I use the blue blockers at night, I go to sleep at a regular hour, and I really don't have a problem with jet lag. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. I have another question,
Sure.
unless someone else is ready to go. Is there a difference other than just strictly power between the say the 35 and maybe like a 220? Because I remember Harold's talking about higher dimensions. Does that actually add an additional quality, or is it strictly a power and range scenario?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's definitely, range and power, right? But then also, like Harold would talk how they're even connected to a higher level of consciousness, which then also makes them more focused on the environment and the collective versus the individual, right? So the big towers are super important because they take care of all the issues we have on our environment, the systemic level, while then also creating a strong network that supports the smaller towers. That's why they're so important. But as far as like their mission, whatever you want to call their focus, they're more focused on the environment, right? While the 75 and the 35 are also more, focused on you personally and your own development.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As long as we're talking about this, could you also go into the soul aspect? I still need some help really understanding that.
Yeah, and I don't like to use the word souls, per se. That's something that started in Europe.
Mm.
And the issue is that people have so many different things that means.
Yeah.
Souls. I literally have people ask me, hey, if I get a cosmic tower and it says souls, is that like the soul of my dead mother and my dead father that's in there, you know? Because depending on the belief system that people are in, that can mean different things. So I don't even go into the 12th to 13th, whatever dimension, right? What for me is important, that the cosmic tower has a connection all the way into the high, like, spiritual planes, and has that connection to like the source, and that it's like harmonious on all the levels in between, which
Mhm.
you can measure with biogeometry, which we do, which is we just don't measure the cosmic tower's quality of the energy on like the physical level, but also on the energetic, in the emotional plane, in the spiritual, in the mental plane, and in the spiritual plane. So that's more how I like to look at it. But yeah, everything is conscious. All living organisms are conscious in our world. Water is conscious, right? You look at Masuri Emoto with the water crystals,
Mhm.
and if somebody was angry at them, the shape got distorted, while if somebody prayed, so bringing that centering force, that harmonizing quality that the cosmic tower also brings, you see beautiful crystals that are formed. So yeah, water is absolutely conscious, because to me, it's really what allows the spirit to animate the matter, and why are we built up of water, right? So definitely when with the cosmic tower, when you then have living water that has all these amazing qualities, and you create a toroidal field, it becomes self-organizing, right? And it has an intelligence. It has an intelligence to it. But mainstream science doesn't want to acknowledge this, but all this goes all the way down to like the electron, up to the universe itself. It's all conscious, it's all beings within beings, right? And so I think it's important to understand that yeah, cosmic tower is as a consciousness, but it's when we talk about consciousness, humans always like to think through like the human filter, how we are conscious, right? It's like when you have a pet. I wonder what he's thinking about now. Or like, you know what I mean? But their consciousness is very different from ours, because they hear and see and smell in different ranges. So what they perceive as reality is very different. Yes, they have a conscious, but if you go animals in the wild, for example, it's more still of the collective conscious. While with pets, you see them more like, adjusting to their owners and getting a little, ego of themselves. So yeah, everything is conscious. I think that's important. Once we look at it through that lens, you know that you are a part of the whole, you look at the world completely differently, right? What scientists are doing and smashing all these particles together in Switzerland, I mean, it's, it's terrible, but plants are conscious, like really like all of life is, right?
Also, in this vein, could you speak to what so many of the mediums are channeling these days about going from the third dimension to the fourth and to the fifth? Do you have any thoughts on that, and how does it tie to our cosmic towers?
Well, I think, like, see, I'm not a big fan of all like the different, dimensions. I'm honestly also not a big fan of channeling,
Okay.
right? Because how do you know who's on the other end, right? So I mean, but I definitely think absolutely there's some really legit like channels out there that connect with a higher level of consciousness, and bring this information through. But yeah, our world is shifting, and our consciousness is shifting, and that's really, if you go look at the cycles, like we have the cycles of the seasons in the year, there's much bigger cycles too of consciousness, right?
Right.
And right now we are in this cycle of consciousness where we kind of come out of these dark ages, and we just become really more conscious. And this is going to go on for the next thousands of years or so. So it's a big transition, right?
Mhm.
But the age of darkness, I think, is really more about how we saw ourselves separate of the
Mhm.
whole,
Right.
right? And not recognizing that we're one in creation. And look at all of you that are here, right? You're on that front line of shifting that consciousness within humanity, because yeah, you recognize it's not just about quote unquote you raising your vibration or whatever you want to call it, shifting your consciousness, but it's also about the entire planet doing that. Right. So yeah, absolutely, we're changing. And I think even all the rules of this reality are going to change. Physics might even change, right? Because remember, all particles, everything is conscious. So it's not just us going through this, but it's the Earth as a whole. And that's why you see all the crumbling now, because this realm's being purified. So all the old systems that aim at like controlling others, right? Like governments, educational systems, banking systems, they're all crumbling. And that's going to continue because it really doesn't, it's no longer a vibrational match to where consciousness and we are heading, right? There's this kind of, they're trying to hold it off, but it's like trying to dam off a river that just becomes twice as powerful like every week or something. Cannot be held. So that's why it's important for all of those to flow with that. And what does that mean on an individual level? That things are going to come up that are related to this old way of being from the dark ages, right? And those are going to come up for us to release. And as you release those and are more and more in alignment with the way, consciousness is evolving, that's always, the best and the fastest way.
Nico, while you were speaking there, Lori had her hand up. Lori, is it still relevant? Do you want to jump in? We'll make space for you here. And then Ed, I just saw your hand. He'll come to you next.
Yes. Hi. Okay, so I'm new to this whole concept and don't really know a lot about the cosmic tower. That's why I got on the call today, so I could learn more. First of all, I saw it on Sarah Kleiner's page, Sarah Kleiner Wellness, and then Sarah Pugh, I think, or I don't know how you say her last name, have talked about it. So I was trying to learn more about what it is. And I'm a little nervous, I'll just say right off the bat, because I don't understand it. And I'm a Christian and I'm like very careful of what I bring into my home. And just the name Cosmic Tower has kind of freaked me out a little bit. I want to make sure I'm not doing anything that goes against my belief system. And so I don't know if you can speak to that or if you know,
Yeah.
asking you exactly.
Absolutely, I can speak to that. And I totally understand it. And it's also not like the cosmic tower is gonna replace whatever you believe in, right?
Okay.
Kind of look at it like, for example, people go to churches or temples to pray. Why? Because it creates a particular resonance. There's a certain harmony there that allows you to make your own connection to whatever you believe in, right? You don't pray to the statue. That's just a representation, right? But it's your own inner connection, and that will never change. Just imagine as the cosmic tower being creating that same harmonious energy that you would experience in a sacred power spot or in a temple, just allowing you to connect even deeper with whatever it is you believe in, right? I mean, everybody's different. I believe there's as many paths as there are people on the world, and you have to do what works for you, right?
Okay. The reason, one of the things I was looking for this is our house is fairly close to a cell phone tower, and I have a son with autism. My husband had a recent heart attack, and I know, how all that stuff affects your blood clotting together and all the stuff. So I'm looking at different ways of mitigating some of those factors in my life. Am I looking in the right direction? Is this something that
Yeah, absolutely. And we have one doctor in the community who was very highly sensitive to EMF, to where it debilitated her, and she couldn't even travel or leave her home anymore. And then after she got her cosmic tower, she was over the moon because she didn't have, she no longer had those issues, and she was able to travel again. Now, the important thing, and we'll get into it, I see there's another question here related to that, but just in a nutshell, is, and I know Sarah talks about this, for especially Sarah Pugh, about having to harmonize EMF. You can't block it out. You
Yeah.
can't absorb it. You can't deflect it in our world. There's satellites. So that's why a cosmic tower, like biogeometry or other systems, are focused on harmonizing, right? So not blocking out the signals, you just can't do that, but really changing the quality of it to where it's no longer detrimental to our bodies, but actually supports our bodies.
Okay, so in the on the web page it says, buy the biggest one you can afford. And I noticed some people buy a certain size and then they buy the small one if they're traveling, or can you speak to that? Like, how do you make a choice when you're trying to purchase one of these?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're really focused on your home and your family, right, the CT75 is the strongest one for that purpose. It's 6 times stronger than the CT 35. And then the mini is really for traveling when you're outside of your home, where you have your bigger towers to protect you, right? So the mini actually doesn't give you the benefits that it will, like, help rebuild your body and get you to a higher level of energy. It's just focused on protecting you while you're outside of the range of your bigger tower.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, and welcome.
Thanks for joining, Lori. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. And Ed, we'll back to you. You still have that question?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to know if well, anybody, but it seemed like Harold spoke directly to the minerals, and I remember Patrick talking about the minerals that he carried, but it was kind of like maybe he said his doctor recommended them is how it was worded. But do you feel like those are the best minerals that I can get, or was there something else that um maybe you do, or that I should be considering?
Are you talking about what Harold would talk about, the Remag and the?
I don't remember. I probably didn't watch everything that he ever did, but I remember one time that he spoke directly to that. He felt that the minerals were very, very important, and I
Yes.
think he might have even talked about volcanic minerals or something. So there's a lot of different minerals out there.
Mhm.
I've already gone through some of Patrick's minerals, and I'm ready to get some more. Um, and I may just get those again if that's what you feel is best.
Great. Well,
Patrick, do you want to comment on the minerals while I let the dogs out here?
yeah, sure. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the more the better. So I put minerals and supplements all over my house so that wherever I am, I just start taking them. And I try to take them as often as I can and to listen to my body. And after a while, that gets easier. So I have 3 different types of magnesium on my desk in the other room. And I try to make sure to hit all 3 bottles multiple times during the day. And instead of taking the recommended daily dose, I take just 1 pill and then just try to put as much magnesium in as consistently as possible. So the ones that were recommended by Dr. Ben Edwards were actually just this morning. We're going to change the label on that. It's going to come from the exact same place, but we're not going to use Dr. Ben's label on it anymore. We're going to have the Mother Earth Labs minerals, and it's going to be the same one. I called last week to a company called Trace Minerals, and they are in every Whole Foods, little local store. They're everywhere. And honestly, I've never felt like our market was big enough to merit calling them. They do serious volume. but I'm continuing to see an evolution in what we do. And the minerals are just essential. And I pick up trace minerals at those places all the time. I want to pick them up for all of us now so they can be shipped in the same packages so that if there's the potential to discount them, I can discount them. The guiding principle I run by is full spectrum. I want as many trace minerals as possible. So if somebody doesn't have a budget and wants to have a lot of minerals, buy Celtic salt, or Baja Gold is another one that's got a really wide array of trace minerals. And I think that's a great way to go. I kind of cut my teeth on this issue with salt back a decade ago. And what I learned was when I'm mineral deficient, I can take a pinch of salt and eat it, and it tastes great. If I repeat that, it tastes less great. And when I get enough, it tastes like shit. And so I would just pinch minerals until it didn't taste good anymore. And I just kind of think it's like that. Like the more that we can put in, the better. And if you want to squeeze a lemon into your water in the morning, if you want to cut fruit during the day and have it in your water, like it's just all good. And our soil used to give us this, and it's just become a profound challenge. I mean, everything in life has been degraded in so many ways. So at essence, the thing that holds up the water that we are is minerals. How can you go wrong by putting a lot in? And the far end of the spectrum on that is if you overdo it, you get diarrhea. And so don't overdo it, or overdo it once and find out where that line is and then come back in from there. But minerals, 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 wide spectrum often.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Okay. This is really fun. The way we've been playing ping pong with the questions, going back and forth, feels very organic. I'm loving it. Does anybody else have another one? We have a couple of questions that were sent in earlier. I'm noticing some comments in the chat on some minerals. Lenore, I too have used Remag. It's one that I've bought. I don't always buy it, but I have. And Lori contributed that she loves beam minerals. So they're all good. Okay, anybody want to jump in, or I will look to the spreadsheet and see what we have prepared.
Could you go back just a minute to the pinhole glasses to say a little bit more when you wear them and what they do for you?
Sure. My eyes get tired sometimes. I spend too much time on my phone, or I'm on this little laptop that I'm on with you right now, and I can't see this laptop anymore without readers on. I just need them. And so I'm noticing actually if I get a lot of blue light exposure, even during the day, that those are all factors that lead to the tiredness. So I have come to recognize that the pinhole glasses are so effective that if I go to walk the dog, like transitioning out of work and into another part of the day, I will take the pinhole glasses and stick them in my pocket, and I'll be going down the sidewalk and I'll put them on and I'll put them off. I tend not to keep them on when I go by people because I like to make eye contact and smile and say hi to people, and it just doesn't feel quite right. So I have them on and off a lot. And, if I'm going to be fully honest with you, some days my eyes get so tired that when I'm transitioning with my dog Blue and we're like heading down to the beach, I will on the highway take a very clear intake of the entire picture. And if there's nobody around me and I'm really clear, I will put the pinhole glasses on for 10 seconds and then I will take them off, because it's that fast to providing relief. Or then I'll get to the beach and I'll just sit for 5 minutes with them on and let Blue walk around for a minute. So just as often as I can get them in. And it's really fast, the impact of the change, really fast.
Yeah, you look at the Bates method, Louise, BATES.
Yeah, I have one of
It has to
those.
do with the straining
Yeah.
of the eyes.
And do you all know anything about the red light glasses that some of the holistic eye doctors recommend?
I don't know those glasses specifically, but Nico turned me on to this technique he talked about briefly, and I in the last month have found the settings for changing my iPhone to red, and I set up a shortcut, they call it. So now if I just hit my home screen 3 times, the phone turns red. And I try to keep it red as much as I can. And then there's certain buttons that just don't show up and that aren't visible. And so I just 3 tap it and I see a certain direction or thing that I need on the phone, and I 3 tap it back to red. So, I'm really actively going after this. And honestly, my eyes have been in a pretty steady state of decay for about 10 years. And these last few weeks, I'm like, wow, I'm really feeling better. So I think these techniques combined, pinhole, blue light blockers, and turning the phone red, they do it, like they carry the day.
So to figure out how to do that on the phone, you just Google it and it'll give
Yeah,
you
you have an iPhone?
I do.
Yeah, you can try Googling it, like how to change my it's kind of deep buried into the settings.
Mhm.
How to turn my iPhone screen red. And if you really can't get at it, send me an email and I'll figure it out and send it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Ed.
On the subject of the pinhole, I was into it and I actually got online and ordered some, but I ended up getting these, they're really like a screen. They're more like mesh. They're not pinholes. They're square.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering if the shape, now that Nico is talking about shapes, if that is maybe not a good shape, and that the pinholes would be better to have, and that I'm not really getting the benefits because I'm not noticing anything good from them.
Nico, I'll be back in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to test that.
Okay.
I
Because
don't
he
know.
talks about a point, so much. Ibrahim does. And I'm thinking, wow, that's the shape is important. And I've changed from a point to a square.
Mhm.
All right, so these are them. And when I go to make a video telling people what's available, one of the things that I'm gonna do is pop one of my lenses out because it pops out that easy. And I don't want people saying, my lens popped out, help, and think there's something wrong. This is a piece of plastic. It comes from China. I bought 500 of them for 40 cents a piece so that we could take care of our eyes. What you do is you put it on your eyes and you wear it when your eyes are tired. And if the lens pops out, you pop the lens back in, and I'm not gonna mess with that right now. You just pop it back in. And I don't think the shape matters, and I don't think anything matters. Like, just put them on and let your eyes relax for a second. It works. That's why I got involved with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Karen's got her hand up. Hey, Karen, welcome.
Hey, Patrick, can you show that again? Because I didn't see it. You did it so fast. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for slowing me down. That's always important on these online things. Yeah,
Thank
there's
you.
just like nothing to it, right? I mean, it's just a cheap piece of plastic. It just happens to be super effective at what it does. So that's it. Is that good? Okay, great. Awesome. So Laura, you use orange the most before sunrise and after sunset. Barb is asking, she joined late, how to get access to these glasses. Barb, I'm gonna be sending them into our warehouse. I just got a pricing quote on it this morning about what it'll take to package them and get them in, and then we're just gonna make them available for cost for people to send them out. So there's no need to pay $31 for a piece of glasses. And our warehouse is really efficient, so we can ship one item and make it reasonable for you guys. So that's what we'll do. All right, Off of the pinhole glasses and on to subtle energies. Not that it's not all related, but let's see what we got. Nico, was there anything else from when we were talking earlier today that you wanted to go back to?
What are you talking about? About the
We were talking earlier and we talked a little bit about sensitivity to the towers and feeling them and you know, I said, you know, maybe we go back to that on the call, and I just want to see if there was something specific you wanted to do there before I read a
Yeah, maybe
question.
we'll do that at the end. Let's get the questions answered because we only have 20 minutes.
Oh, that's a good point. I actually have a hard stop at the top of the hour. So I have learned that the Cosmic Tower can clean the home environment. Does it include molds?
Yeah,
Great.
that's a great
Timely question. Yeah.
that's a great question. And I actually checked in Europe if they had anything particular. People had testimonials about that, and Yvonne, who's the most knowledgeable, she didn't know about anybody having specific like successes with that. But in general, if there is like a detrimental Earth radiation present, it can attract things like termites, right, and mold. Because if you look at parasites, all those types of animal groups that are focused on decay and cleaning things up, and so definitely when there is like detrimental Earth energy grids, that really attracts those types of things. That's why even in biogeometry, I was telling Pat this earlier because we were talking about termites. They're able, you know, to measure a room and just put a little colored dot in the right place in the room, which changes the energy, and the termites go away. I know there's actually people, and they might even be here, it might have been Jane or Richard that had success with things like termites and getting them out of their location because they don't really like that coherent energy, right? They're drawn to where there's decaying energy. So absolutely, I think the Cosmic Tower helps with that, right? From a subtle point of view to create an environment that those organisms are not drawn to. But I know with mold, there's a lot of other things to consider too, right? Maybe there is, you know, a water leak in the house and there's other factors. So cannot give a conclusive answer on that other than it helps, right, with disharmonious Earth energies. And you also have to understand that detrimental Earth energies, they get amplified then by 5G and EMF, right? Because they have a resonance with it. So that makes it even a bigger problem. So yeah, nothing specific on, I think this person, it was from an email, and there was an apartment, you know, that had mold, I think, that was like nearby, and that person wanted to know. So a harmonious energy field is definitely good. Plus then the fact that the Cosmic Tower creates more of the life force in the air, right? By structuring the humidity that's in the air and ensuring there's more life force, which, you know, that definitely helps.
Okay, great. This is actually the only other pre-written question, so it's great. We've been so organic, and we'll be coming back to you guys in a
What do
second.
you mean? I got 5 more. Are you in the right place in the sheet?
Oh, maybe not. No. Start November here. That seems like a good idea. Thanks, Nico. What are ley lines? How do cosmic towers impact them?
Yeah, so ley lines are, you could all, I mean, most of you're familiar with like the meridian system in the body, right? If you go to acupuncture and they work on your meridians, that's for the energy flow, right? To stimulate or to balance out the energy flow in your own energetic body. Well, the Earth's also a living being, right? So she has her own meridian system. Plus, most of you are aware of sacred power spots, right? These are places in the Earth where some of these ley lines cross, and it creates a power spot. And then, you know, if you go all the way back to the ancient times, people would figure that out and they would put dolmen on them. And then, you know, the societies would get more evolved and they started putting churches and temples on them, right? Going back to Luxor next week, if you go to Luxor Temple, there's a Christian church in there and there is a mosque built into it. So the traditional way of explaining that is that one religion wanted to take over the other one, but another way at looking at it is that churches and temples are not built in random places. It's about the energy spot that is already there. And then what you can do is you can build a structure on it that will even like amplify those energies or spread them, you know, throughout the community. So you find the temples and churches often on crossings of those ley lines. And one of the things is that if you look at the waves, they're also like scalar waves. They're longitudinal waves. And one of the issues is now that, you know, a lot of like the 5G and all that and the EMFs and the man-made energies, they're actually, you know, polluting the energy lines, right? Or if there's a detrimental energy already there to even like amplify it. So the cosmic tower, since it creates a harmonious field, actually will also harmonize like ley lines or energy lines. And then especially the big towers, they really again do it, you know, on a much larger scale, because in order for the Earth to have a healthy energy body, just like us, you know, she needs a healthy flow of the energy through her meridians or through her energetic body.
It came up in the chat while you were talking, can ley lines change over time? And sounds like you're saying yes.
Yeah, I think absolutely so, yeah.
Great. Does a cosmic tower help move lymph?
Does the cosmic tower help move lymph? That's an interesting question. Well, definitely one of the reasons that I know that the lymph stops moving is because all the water, I mean, the lymph doesn't have a pump, right? The lymph system, it all will drain to your clavicles, right? That's where it moves. So it kind of has to work like against gravity. So one of the things the cosmic tower does that I think definitely helps with the lymph movement is to break up those clusters, right, of the water to where it's not so clumped together and you know, blocks the lymph nodes or the lymph ducts. But also one of the things that's important with the lymph, it's exercise and movement, right? Because it doesn't have a pump. So yeah, my answer would be that I think it can definitely help by breaking down the water structure, but does it mean you can just lay on the couch all day and it's going to clear your lymph for you? That might not do it. I mean, you might have to get up and move a little bit and you know, get the circulation going in your body.
Okay, great. A few years ago, I bought a cosmic tower of 1 meter and a cosmic mini. I have a question regarding EMF meters. So in most free environments, I measured 20 to 40. I don't know what that measurement is.
The Tesla,
What is it?
pico, or, yeah, micro Tesla or whatever.
Micro Tesla. Now in front of my modem, I measure 100 plus, and against the cosmic tower of 1 meter also. Is there an explanation for this? The EMF meter warns you for negative manipulation of the electromagnetic field, they say.
Yeah, and I'm glad this question is getting asked because be good to watch the science series, especially I think part 7, where I talk about Dr. Karim's work in Hamburg and how we have to look at EMF completely differently. And so one of the challenges is that an EMF meter will only tell you what quantity is there. It tells you nothing about the quality of the signal, right? So an EMF meter will purely tell you this is the measurement. There is an electromagnetic field here. It doesn't tell you whether it's beneficial or whether it's detrimental. So if you have a cosmic tower, or even with using biogeometry where you harmonize it, you're still going to be able to detect electromagnetic fields, because else all your devices would stop working, your cell phone and your Wi-Fi, etc. So, but what an EMF meter is not going to tell you is whether this is beneficial for you or detrimental, right? So the cosmic tower, as a biogeometry, they don't eliminate the electromagnetic field, but they harmonize it to where it's no longer detrimental for your body, and that's a big difference, right? Even more so, I think an EMF meter will not tell you anything about the subtle distortions that are going on, right? I mean, scientists, they will measure it and they say, oh, it is safe, but only look at the electromagnetic spectrum, which is a few percent of the entire spectrum of creation. And what Dr. Karim, for example, has shown is that beyond the electromagnetic spectrum, these waves create distortions in the energetic layer, in the mental, into the emotional layers. All of those are distorted, right? So if you really want to measure something like a cosmic tower or biogeometry, you have to use something that's much more refined than an EMF meter, right? You would have to apply like physical radiesthesia and do measurements that way, with one of those measurements that can actually tell you what the quality of the signal is, right? You could, the Earth has electromagnetic fields. Doesn't mean it's bad for you. It actually uses this for communication, and it's an integral part of the Earth. Or you can have a healing device based on electromagnetic energy, right? Where you would just take your meter and say, ooh, that's a high reading, but it's helping you. Why? Because that meter doesn't tell you anything about the quality. So that's why we need something like physical radiesthesia, to where we can measure the quality of the signal, and we can do it on all the subtle layers, not just in the tiny electromagnetic spectrum.
Awesome. Will the mini work if it's at a long distance from the 75? I want to give it to my mom, but she lives 30 kilometers away. And if it needs to be close to the 75 from time to time, how often should that be?
No, the mini works independent from your bigger tower, and that's what it's designed for, right? So it doesn't have to be nearby. But remember, that's why we recommend not having just the mini, because the mini is not going to give you the full benefits that you would get from a 35 or a 75, to really recharge your body and get better. The mini is really to make sure that when you're outside of the field of your larger tower, that you're not degrading and taking one step forward and two back.
Other than the height and a bit more weight and the larger coverage area of the 250, am I gaining any further benefits in purchasing a 250 over the 220?
No, I mean, the quality of the energy is the same, right? It's just that you're helping a much larger area, because the 250 is more powerful, but the energy itself is the same and has the same functionality, etc.
Great. Okay, I'm back to the chat, and we've got 5 more minutes. Dr. Karim spoke about a power spot he visited that did not have a church built on it. He energetically connected to it and got knocked out for 2 days. Can the cosmic tower harmonize a power spot such as this that would normally be detrimental to humans?
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I do remember him telling that story, which is that not all power spots out are beneficial, right? So that's why it's important to be able to measure it and to make sure that whatever you're perceiving is, it's a beneficial energy. So absolutely, if there's a large cosmic tower nearby, they can harmonize such energies.
Awesome. Thea shared about Theo's product. Thea and Theo. That's funny. Product Bio Recharge. It's an awesome trace mineral supplement. His packaging uses biogeometry to protect its purity. Yeah, it sure does. I mean, not only does he use biogeometry, but he worked with our friend Holland to put an infinity sign into his barcode because the barcode was giving off a negative energy. And those are the types of measurements we've been doing on the Aqua Energizer the last year, is making sure we tune to every little bit of those subtle things. And Theo's been one of our teachers on that. So yeah, Bio Recharge is a great place to go for your minerals. Okay. Totally off topic. What does Nico have around his neck? Looks very
Oh, it's a biosignatures pendant. It's from biogeometry. I don't know if you could see it. And it has symbols on it, and then it has an L90 shape here. And if you're interested in that, I really like the biosignatures. You can buy Dr. Kareem's book. I think it's called Biosignatures. And what they basically are is they're different flows of energy in the form of a symbol that that he figured out. And you have certain ones for the heart, for the intestines, for the eyes, for the ears. But and also then on different levels of the heart. And actually in some of them, you could see the shape of the heart in there. When it's the more physical, the more denser energy, you see the shape of the heart. And it's basically, if you get the book, you can draw those symbols and they will balance out those organs. They have them for your spine and for a lot of other different things. And then this is really a pendant that they made that has a bunch of those symbols on there that they picked, and it basically helps balance your organs and do a lot of other things.
Sasha has just kindly posted a link to the biogeometry shop in the chat.
Awesome. Thank
Feel
you.
free to click on that before we close this up, and we are right there at closing time. So anybody with a last word they want to get in? Well, I always have a last word, which is thank you all for being here. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about something that matters in life, and really appreciate you guys. It's a great opportunity for us to come together and open our hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back next month. We're in stock and shipping cosmic towers everywhere, and that includes Europe. We've gotten a bunch into Canada recently. The two big towers finally made it into Canada, and yeah, it's just a delight to see them going to so many locations. If you live in a cold weather place and you're thinking about buying one, buy it now. It's not going to get easier to get it to you the colder it gets. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And yes, Barb, it's recorded and it'll be posted on Friday.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll get the recording out to you. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you. Bye, thank you very much.